Hey everyone, welcome to our first ever community checkpoint here. I am John Supinarius, community developer on Rainbow Six, and this is a new stream initiative that we're starting to provide you with more frequent updates on the hot topics and questions you might have within the community. Today, we're specifically here to talk about player protection, and joining me in this discussion are three wonderful devs. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Christopher Budgeon, live content director for Rainbow Six Siege. I handle a lot of playlists, matchmaking, progression systems, things that happen outside of the match.
I'm Mathieu Sola. I am anti-cheat director on Rainbow Six Siege.
Hello, I'm Lancelot Sadji, Game Protection Director on Siege, dealing with anti-toxicity and game security.
And we also have Adrian. He's in the shadows. You won't see him, you won't hear him, but that gameplay at the top is him playing with 9 other devs to show you guys how they choose to play a Siege. So, and we'll be checking in with them a few times, guys, so keep an eye out for that. Before we get into our discussions for the day here, we do have to tackle the elephant in the room, and that is the cyber attack that has impacted the game during Christmas. Where are we at today?
Yeah, so during Christmas, Siege has faced a cyber attack, leading to fake ban notifications. So yes, it was fake, and items and credit granting on player inventory that should not be there. That forced us to shut down the game for 24 hours to do a rollback of player inventories. And by the way, this week the rollback has been officially done. We had some edge cases to deal with. And I would like to really reassure everyone that we continue our investigations, and as of today, there is no evidence of players' personal data or source of code that could have been compromised because of the incident. And thank you to the community and to the players, because as soon as we have reopened the game, you were here to play. It's always a collaborative effort, and this one was a huge one. So thank you. And today we have a lot of important changes and news to share with you about player protection. So thank you for staying with us.
All right, thank you, Lancelot. And let's jump into those changes now. Let's start with R6 Shield Guard here. And of course, at the start of the season, we saw a lot of discussion on social channels and elsewhere about cheaters impacting matches. Can you walk us through what was going on?
Yes, so at the beginning of Season 3, we had a lot of chatter online about players having cheaters in the match. What we noticed was that high-ranked players and content creators were between 3 to 5 times more likely to have cheater in the match versus the rest of the player base. Actually, for the rest of the player base, it was better than Season 3, just a few weeks before.
Oh, wow. Okay, and you talked about changes being made. What specifically have you changed to improve it?
Yes, absolutely. So the team has been growing. Like Shield Guard is a team that has done a tremendous job. Actually, the team is working super hard for this, improve the tooling, improve the processes. I don't want to go too much into detail today, but like all the features like QB, mousetrap, or ML detection, everything is online, has been improved, and we keep improving those. So our goal really is to be better at detecting cheater and also reacting faster. I hope you see it in your games.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, you're essentially better equipped now to adapt to the constantly shifting landscape of cheat software, correct?
Absolutely. So the cheat landscape is changing all the time. There are new threats that appear. Right now we're in a good position. We're at the lowest that we've been since the launch of Siege X. We're really happy. We're also very reactive. When new things appear, we can react faster.
I just want to back up that point a little bit. The cheating landscape is quite dynamic. When a new cheat provider comes in, it does force us to kind of, second guess ourselves, look into our systems, and start looking at new ways to fight against those new providers. So sometimes, yes, new providers do kind of shake some of our systems, but we are equipped, better equipped now than we've ever been to address that.
And you mentioned that cheaters impact different ranks in different ways. How does that influence the actions you take to address these issues?
Yes, so cheaters try to reach the highest ranks, so they disrupt the most those ranks, and just a single cheater can totally shift and put an unfair ecosystem, change the ecosystem. So we want to act at that level, definitely.
Yeah, like high-ranked players are a target because they have charms, backgrounds, they have even the account history has value on the gray market. So ultimately, high-ranked players in those high skill ranks, those are the targets for cheaters, and so we need to make sure that we're protecting those players.
Okay, I mean, we're talking about protecting the players, and things are going better now in terms of anti-cheat. I mean, are you trying to make it even better, trying to go even further?
Yeah, so actually, with how those higher ranks are targeted, and with how Secure Boot has been used in other competitive shooters, it's one thing that we want to implement. So in year 11, we will implement R6 Shieldguard secure platform into Siege. We will be deploying it first to a special playlist that will be for the highest ranks that is called Top of the Ladder.
Yeah, like the Secure Boot is coming to Rainbow Six Siege in year 11. We're absolutely bringing Secure Boot. It's part of this new platform, and it's another tool within our toolbox to help our fight against cheating.
And you mentioned it's coming to the top of the ladder. How are you rolling this out? What's the procedure?
So we'll start with just a few players. We'll do an alpha. We want to test everything, make sure our communication is good, and just make sure we understand like all the tech specificities, and we want this to roll out smoothly, right?
Yeah.
And after this alpha, we'll deploy to top of the ladder. That playlist needs to be safe from any cheater.
And I'm sure they're going to be really happy about that. No question, you're strengthening that. But, I mean, the question becomes, what about the rest of the players? What about the rest of the ranks that won't have it at this time?
Yes, so as Chris said, it's just another tool in our toolbox. It doesn't mean that we'll shift all our focus from all the other things. So ML detection, QB, mousetrap, and others, we'll keep investing and improving those. Like it will get better.
And I think Season 4 is a good example. Like Season 4, yeah, there was a big spike in cheating at the beginning. We had a provider that targeted our release, and we've been able to kind of put things together and now bring cheating at a super low level, the lowest that we've ever seen since EJX's launch. So we're really happy with where we're at today, but the work remains, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. By the way, reminder, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll try our best to get to them at the end of the show, but feel free to post them on there. Now let's check in with Adrian and see how things are going in the match. Where are we at? Oh, are we in the preparation phase here, guys? What's going on?
Clubhouse, spectating Ying, trying to hold down, see if you can clutch this.
Okay. Oh, it's a 1v2. Okay.
Yeah, it's a 1v2. Nope.
Oh.
Lost that round. Adrian needs to step it up.
Nope.
Oh, we're 1-1 now. All right, let's see where we go into the next round.
Yeah, Adrian struggling a little bit. He's already observing at that point, so we didn't get a chance to see him play. But also, like, disclaimer, he's playing on 60 FPS because he has to. So if you be easy on him, folks, you know, he's usually better than this. He assured us of that. And he might be doing well. We're not necessarily watching it. You guys can tell us how well he's been playing. Anyway, let's go back into the subjects here and talk about controller spoofing and recoil macro detection, starting with spoofing. You know, let's move on to this topic here. And could you give us a rundown of what it is?
So controller spoofing is basically when you use a device to make the game believe that you're using a controller where actually you're using a mouse and keyboard. And it's super unfair for our controller players to be playing against guys who are on a mouse and keyboard. Yeah. So that's something that we definitely want to tackle this year.
And this is a big issue right now?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big issue. And right now, so Mousetrap is one of our systems to detect whenever you're using mouse and keyboard and you're playing in the controller pool. Right now, what we're doing is when we detect you, we move you to the PC pool so that you're playing against other PC players. Starting in year 11, what we want to do is that whenever you come back to the controller pool, we will ban you. We want to enforce this.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to be banning Mousetrap players. In addition to that, we're also going to be investing in Mousetrap and making it even stronger than before. So we know that there's ways that people are bypassing Mousetrap. On those physical devices, you can actually download macros, which are specifically targeted by their community to bypass our Mousetrap systems. We'll be upgrading our systems to detect that. Additionally, there's ways that you can tweak your settings, your in-game settings to kind of lower your chances of being mousetrapped. We're also aware of how that's being done. So we'll be upgrading our Mousetrap systems. And yes, starting in year 11, when you get mousetrapped, you will be banned from the game. We're not going to put you in the PC pool anymore. You're out of here.
All right, so just don't do that. Yeah, guys, if you're listening. Yeah, but also there's recoil script detection, macro script detection we were talking about. What steps are you taking for that?
Yes, we're also improving that so that we'll first deploy. So right now we're gathering data on players. We did some tests with Pro, but right now we're improving that system to make sure that we can detect when you have recoil tampering, basically systems or macro. We'll first deploy to PC and then we'll go to console.
Just jumping back into our reload event that we had last year, we actually partnered with 8 pro teams that gave us a lot of interesting recoil data that we're able to now see high skill players, how they control their recoil, and be able to compare that to other trends that we see by our players. In addition to that, we've actually been capturing recoil data for quite a while now, all this season for sure. And all of this gives us data that we're now starting to prepare our defense against recoil macros in Rainbow Six Siege. They'll come to the PC pool first, and then after that, consoles will be targeted.
All right. Well, that sounds great. I mean, let's jump back actually to the mouse and keyboard discussion here. And I mean, there are people that just legitimately want to play with mouse and keyboard on console. What are we doing for them?
Yeah, even with the rise in PC costs, like it's getting harder and harder to
Yeah,
get into a PC
yeah.
and jump into the game. So we do want to bring official support for mouse and keyboard to consoles. But how this works is that we actually have an official partnership with the consoles where when you plug in a mouse or a keyboard, we get notified by them that an accepted device has been plugged in and automatically switch you to the PC pool. You're basically playing on a PC, you're playing mouse and keyboard on that console. Now, of course, if you try to bypass those systems, you will get mousetrapped and you will get banned.
Okay. Well, you stole my next question, but it's okay. But yeah, mouse and keyboard officially coming to console, folks, in year 11 support for that. And of course, it's just going to be if you go to use mouse and keyboard, it will be PC pool. You're not going against the console player, so you won't have any advantage against those controller players, for example. Right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, people are using mouse and keyboard right now through those systems that are Mousetrap is designed to catch to get that competitive advantage to rise the ranks, and they're basically cheating on console. That's one of the main ways that people are cheating. And so, yeah, Mousetrap we introduced in year 8. We're going to continue to invest in Mousetrap, and what's true is that it will now be an official, legitimate way to use mouse and keyboard on console. So if you want to just play mouse and keyboard on console, plug it directly into the device itself.
You have that option. Cool. Speaking of ways to cheat or take advantage of the system, boosting, abuse, and smurfing. So for those who don't know, boosting is when you have someone else or a cheater that's going in and trying to get you higher ranked illegitimately, essentially. So are you looking to target players who are intentionally queuing with a cheater?
Yes, absolutely. So if you're playing with a cheater and for a boosting, for example, this is something that we're already doing, but we will increase our efforts and our detection systems to catch you faster and to ban you, to sanction you.
So I think one question I'm sure on everyone's mind is, what if you don't know the person you're queued with is cheating?
Yes, so it won't happen like if you randomly play just a few matches with a cheater, but if we detect a pattern, if you keep playing with cheaters, and if we see that happening, we will start sanctioning you, we'll ban you, yeah.
And another issue which we already alluded to is smurfing, which is really impacting the onboarding experience for new Siege players and kind of making it not as fun of an experience. What are you guys doing to address that?
Yeah, so smurfing, when you create a new account specifically to destroy lower lobbies, we'll detect those. And once again, this is something that we already do, but we'll increase our efforts towards banning them and making sure that they cannot come back.
Yeah, just want to add, when players are smurfing, so very skilled players are jumping into low-skill lobbies, you risk triggering a lot of our anti-cheat protections because it's kind of difficult sometimes to detect, is that actually a cheater or is it a smurf? So you're putting your account at risk by smurfing. We're asking you nicely, please do not do this.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, about account sharing and selling, that's another issue. Of course, I think you kind of alluded to it already, but is there anything being done to help address this?
Just to reinforce our term of services, buying, selling, trading, or sharing an account is forbidden. And it's forbidden for a good reason, because if you buy an account on the gray market, somehow you are feeding the cheating ecosystem. If we ban cheaters and they can just come back by buying the account, at some point we cannot win. So it's very important that you use your own account that you have played on and you have fun by yourself.
Speaking of account security and accounts for players, let's move on to game security and account security now and discuss, new measures being taken to protect players' accounts. Are there any new security measures?
Yes. So during year 11, at some point, we are going to force two-factor authentication by app, so using an application, to secure ranked playlist or marketplace or other aspect of the game. You can already do it as of today, but we only force you to use 2FA, and it can be by email. But it's not enough, and we need to protect better our player from account stealing or other type of abuse from bad actors. So at some point, it's going to arrive. If you want, you can do it today. So do it.
Yeah, 2FA by app is actually stronger than 2FA by email, so it's highly recommended that you use 2FA by app. Okay. And as mentioned, at some point, it will be a requirement for the ranked playlist. And I'd like to jump back to one point, specifically about account buying, account sharing.
Yeah.
A lot of people are buying accounts on the gray market. And when that happens, they're buying a level 50 account that's rank ready. Even if they're a legitimate player playing on those accounts have a very questionable history. You don't know exactly what happened as they reach level 50. Yeah. A lot of them are being created through bot farms, through boosting methods. Those are attached to you. and your account. So if you buy that account and start playing on that account, even if you're playing legitimately, you're now officially associated with that account because we don't know the difference between that ownership. So you very much risk that account getting
Everything that's been done before is applied to you and you only.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Be careful.
Yes, be very careful. Yeah, let's jump back to the two-factor as well now. And I want to talk about the app. You said the app, you can use that for to get authentication. Is there a specific app that needs to be used, or are there multiple authentication apps that you can utilize?
Yeah, but as of today, we are supporting 7 different apps at Ubisoft level because you are securing your Ubisoft account. So we are going to make sure that it's not a friction for players to access the playlist or the marketplace or the game as a whole, of course. And the goal is just to help you have fun in game without thinking about all of this stuff.
Perfect.
So don't
So
worry.
lots of options. Everyone.
Yeah, we'll make sure that it's smooth and yeah.
Perfect. All right. With that being said, let's check in with Adrian and see how things are going. I see that they're about to do. Are they selecting their location? Yeah. Okay. What are you going to go with, Adrian? Which operator?
All right, let's see if you can kind of bring this to the 5th round here. Ayana's a good pick. See exactly what he's going to rock. Let's see, with the Blitz, with the Jackal, the Bana.
Nice background.
Nice little loadout.
Yeah.
100 million players, absolutely.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we're not going to see more than that right now. We'll check in. Do we have another check-in? We're going to check in again afterwards because I want to see some of the gameplay. Either way, let's jump in to discuss one of the hottest topics right now, I would say, in the marketplace. And, the community's been discussing this. It's closed right now. I think there's, a lot of questions and not many answers at this stage. Can you provide any insight as to why it's been closed and how it's related to account security?
So, since the incident during Christmas, the marketplace has not been reopened yet. Yeah. In order to reopen it, we need, as we said, to secure better the account of the players. Because at the end, the marketplace has opened another door for the grey market where some bad actors can offload credits, items, and we need to make sure that we are controlling the economy. So we need first to secure better the account.
Yep.
Second thing is detecting fraud and acting on it for the fairness of the marketplace for the players. Because at the end, if you are dropping a super rare skin that you want to sell and you cannot sell it at a good price because of abuses in the marketplace,
right.
It's not fair for the economy and for you as well. And the last part is really the content strategy of what can be available in the marketplace at what time. Just to make it clear, the marketplace, we want it to reopen. It's a long-term strategy for Siege. We want players to have fun in it. We know that some players love it, so we are working as hard as possible to reopen it.
I mean, it sounds like a lot of benefits will occur once everything is resolved and once you get everything done. Do you have any idea, though, of all when this will all be completed?
So, it won't reopen before several months. We are working on it as hard as possible.
Yeah.
We want it to reopen during year 11. Stay tuned. We'll let you know. We know it can be frustrating, but we are doing our best, truly.
Is there, anything players will have to look forward to in terms of new features on top of this as well once it reopens?
Yeah, so the MVP, the most valuable part or project to reopen the marketplace is the security first.
Okay.
But in parallel, yes, we are continuing to improve the marketplace. So when it's going to reopen, you will have new stuff as well.
Perfect. All right. Let's jump into another subject here, and this is particularly related to anti-toxicity and your experience in the game itself. And are you taking any steps to help improve and address the overall player experience in Siege and to tackle toxicity and reduce it?
Yes, but if we take a step back
Sure.
for what happened during year 10. So before year 10, we didn't have reputation system, voice chat moderation, text chat moderation, privacy setting on console. So year 10 was a very big year for us in terms of foundations for anti-toxicity. And this improvement overall in game, on average, help us to reduce the critical communication in game by 50% and the exposition to toxicity by 25%. So on average, it was very strong features that we needed in the game.
And yeah, go ahead.
And
Sorry.
just to say, so it was a good year for foundation, but is it enough? No, and we are going to invest in it for the next year.
I just heard Adrian maybe get a little upset. So I don't know. Something bad happened in game. All right. It's all right. But One thing I wanted to ask you, of course, is are there any changes you're making in terms of live moderation and voice comms?
So we are going to capitalize on year 10, and during year 11, we are going to improve voice chat moderation, text chat moderation to balance it way better, and to make sure that it's aligning with everyone's sensitivity around what they want to be able to communicate in game and to hear.
And one thing we're also wanting to bring is making sure that players can provide feedback on that moderation. So if they say, hey, this is a false positive in terms of that moderation, this should not have been filtered out. Being able to let us know that and being able to just do that directly from within the game and kind of flag that for us, that actually helps a lot of our tools. We're able to go through and review what has been flagged. But also, we do have in our abilities to look at the text messages and the voice messages that have been sent within Rainbow Six Siege, especially some of those that have been removed. And there's some extreme stuff that's being said. So as Lancel mentioned, like the sensitivities are still being adjusted, and we know that people have different sensitivities overall. So we're looking at those lines, but there is a certain communication that just doesn't really have a place in Siege.
Yeah, and I think kind of tying in with that, it changes the reporting system, right, and how it's going to be done. What improvements are you going to make?
Yeah, so starting in March, during the first season of year 11, we are adding 12 categories for reporting in the game. So we are going from 4 to 16 categories. That is going to help the whole player protection ecosystem, anti-cheat, anti-toxicity, game security to have a better granularity and visibility on the player perception. And it will help us to prioritize where we should put our effort on.
Okay. And what about players who are like, it's a mature game. We don't need to do any of this moderation. Forget about it. It's not important. How do you respond to them?
That's true. Siege, it's an adult game, mature game, 18-plus game. But it's not because we are adult that we want to hear everything or anything that can be said. And extremism, at some point, we need to deal with it and toxic communication. Our main goal is to make sure that anyone, based on their own sensitivity, can play Siege as they want. Siege it's a super tactical game, hard to master. The frustration is already there by design, so we don't need another layer of frustration. And this is what we want to aim.
Cool. All right. Speaking of frustration, we heard it before. Let's check in with Adrian and see how things are going. Oh, it looks like he's alive this time. So that's a step up. I'm sorry. I'm being mean. I know.
Bringing Bravo.
I hope you didn't hear me. No.
Bringing Bravo. Helping some support on his team. Right, he's got his ACOG out. He's not droning as Bravo, so that's interesting. He's got a couple drones in his pocket.
Yeah, he just saw someone there, no?
Yeah. So we're trying to enter into cash on Clubhouse here. Looking for their... Oh,
that was actually really nice.
Through.
Got distracted from the front, and then the side came in and attacked him. That's tough. That was tough. Well, Adrian's unfortunately gone down again, but his teammates may still be able to recover. It is a 3v3 as it stands. And, well... You guys can keep watching. Yeah, trying to reach that overtime. Hopefully they can. That'll be fun. But let's jump back in towards our discussion here. And of course, I wanted to mention that does wrap up our segment of the player protection portion of this. But we do have questions that I'm sure are coming in from you guys and other questions that we've collected in advance. And we'll get to those at the end. For now, we do have a bit of a bonus that we wanted to discuss, and that is testing grounds, because we saw a lot of questions from you guys on testing grounds. What was going on. We're going to show on your screen some footage of it because it's not available anymore. And for those who missed it, you can kind of understand what it was all about. But essentially, could you just give us a quick explanation of why this initiative was started and what purpose it will serve?
Yeah, absolutely. Testing Grounds gives us the ability to test new prototypes, new features, new ideas directly with the player. It's a new playlist where players can test out this experimental gameplay. There's a QR code, they can scan it, send their qualitative feedback directly to us, and that means we get a lot more information about that feature, how do players see it unfolding within the game, and where should we take it next.
Do you plan on directly implementing features seen on the testing grounds, such as, the armor type that we've seen here, or is just collecting data on players, or both?
Yeah, so our last one that we tested was armor and speed. It was our first one that we did.
Yeah.
It was in year 10, season 4. Basically, anything that we bring to the testing grounds, we're ready to implement in the game, but we also have some question marks, right? Okay. So what a better way than to satisfy those question marks by just working directly with the community. So instead of just bringing it into the game outright, now we bring it into this small testing area. We get the feedback from players. It opens up that discussion, lets us know what players are thinking about that, and decide where we take that next.
And in terms of, from excuse me, trying it out to actually using it in the live game, how long is that process?
It depends on the overall the prototype that we're doing. So say, for example, usually with the testing grounds, we have an idea in mind. We have a problem that we're trying to solve, and we have a design that we think could satisfy that objective. So again, it depends on ultimately where that is, but we want to bring that to players so that way we can get the feedback directly from them.
And how frequently do you plan on running these testing grounds?
We're going to do at least one a year. We actually have some information about our next one at the SI on February 15th with our full year 11 reveal. So we will be announcing what the next testing ground topic will be.
My questions keep getting stolen, but it's okay. Yeah, well, I was going to ask, is there anything we can tease for SI? But yeah, essentially we are going to announce the next testing grounds at Six Invitational, guys, February 15th. Make sure you keep an eye out for that. But let's get back to our discussion. In terms of collecting data from that first one, did you have a lot of users? Was there a lot of useful data that you were able to get?
Yeah, it was extremely useful because a lot of the time we'll get quantitative data.
Yeah.
What that means is just the core numbers. So how many players chose Juggernaut as an example for their armor and speed. What this does with the QR code and the surveys and everything else, it brings a lot of qualitative data. So that helps kind of color between the lines. We start to understand, okay, why were they choosing Juggernaut? And that gives us a lot more context. So that way, when we go back and we start looking at that feature, whether it's ready for live or whether it needs some more work, it gives us a lot more feedback to play with, both qualitative and quantitatively.
Now, I think this was done with Lab Test Server in the past, right?
was, yeah.
What's different between these two implementations?
So Lab Test Server was similar to our current test servers. It was a different version of Rainbow Six Siege that you had to download, and it was on PC only. So our console players were left in the dark. Bringing it directly into a playlist, that means all players are able to test it. Also, you don't have to have two versions of Rainbow Six Siege on your PC, which also meant we had a lot more players participating in it than what we used to get on the Lab TS.
That's fantastic. So just it's more accessible in general for anyone who just wants to jump in as opposed to having to take multiple steps to get to that point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can jump in our testing grounds, play a few rounds, then jump back into ranked. So grab your squad.
Very easy
and
to
then
switch between.
converse.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. Yeah, so I mean, how overall do you see this playtest evolving in the future?
Yeah, actually, well, we want to keep testing topics. We're still kind of figuring out, is something too big, too small to bring to testing grounds, but the best way is just testing, right? Just bringing the topics and then work on that with players and see what the feedback is.
All right, cool. All that being said, guys, that does wrap up our main topic. So now we're going to jump into your questions and answer what you have to say. We have some pre-prepared questions. Then we're going to go through the questions that you might have had in chat, if any. So kicking things off here, and everyone feel free to answer whatever question we have here. So what is the planned rollout on TPM 2.0 Secure Boot, IOMMU, and VBS? That's a mouthful.
Yes. So our 6 Shield Guard secure platform will include some or all of those features of those systems, not necessarily at the start, but we'll develop them, and some are already included for the top of the ladder playlist.
So pretty much everything is already being considered.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Cool. And here's one for the marketplace. For people that had buy orders in the marketplace, such as a $60 credit buy order, is there a plan for the credits to be returned as they're currently stuck in the marketplace?
It has been done this week. So as I said at the beginning, the rollback has been finished this week because we had some edge cases to deal with. It should be good now.
So no one should be having this issue.
No.
Okay, perfect. Great. There you go, guys. This one's a good one. Will the cap of selling an item 3 times be overturned once the marketplace is stable?
Good question. So as I said, the goal of the marketplace is to have freedom of market. So we want to work and to secure the marketplace as much as possible to get rid of these kind of limitations. So the goal is to remove this kind of limitation.
Okay. I do have some questions from the chat here. I feel like we already confirmed this, but is native mouse and keyboard support coming to console? I think that's kind of implied with what we said, right?
Yes, native mouse and keyboard is coming to console in year 11. Once again, that brings a legitimate way to play mouse and keyboard on console, but it will be restricted to the PC pool. You will not be able to access the consoles pool through that. And again, there's a legitimate way that we get from first party, which is Microsoft and Sony, that says there's a detected device here that's a mouse or a keyboard, and we automatically would switch you to the PC pool. You wouldn't be able to access the console pool at all.
Perfect. Well, there you go again, guys. And well, this is another question. What about boosted players? Will there be any sanctions?
So we will discuss about the sanction, but of course, if you get boosted, so it means that you have reached a rank or level that it's not your level. At some point, we need to react. What will be the sanction? It will depend on the severity of the boosting, and it will also depend on the fairness of the boosting. Like if you are playing with a friend that is very strong to the game, not cheating, might be different that if you have squatted with cheaters a lot. And this is where we will have a strong collaboration in terms of playlist security and cheating as a whole.
And I think this is my follow-up question. So in terms of identifying boosted accounts, it's the same as you said before, like looking at patterns, looking at how quickly things are going?
Yeah, it's all about patterns.
Okay.
It's all about patterns, repetition. Of course, we cannot assess the boosting on one match, for example. So we'll work to define these patterns to make sure that it's fair for all the players related to all the information we are gathering. And based on the playlist in the game and the rank system, etc.
And if I could add a little bit to that. So boosting players can happen in many different ways. One of those also is elo trapping. And we've taken a firm stance in elo trapping this year. Elo trapping is not an acceptable way to rise the ranks within Rainbow Six Siege, and we've been taking a strong stance against that as well.
All right, I got more questions coming in, so let's get to it. Will we be able, this one's interesting. Will we be able to switch off crossplay on PC?
So that's something that we are looking at. Yeah. We don't have anything to announce right at this time, but we are looking at ultimately giving players the options to play how they want to play. When we brought PC console crossplay in Year 9 Season 4, it was something that we really didn't want to have at the time because we needed to make sure that that new crossplay system was as stable as possible. So we're always looking at this, and when the time is ready, we'll have something to announce.
Perfect. All right. Next one is, when you guys said that spoofing devices would be banned after an initial mousetrap, is that ban permanent?
So the length of the ban is something that we're currently discussing. It will absolutely be 1 year minimum. That's absolutely for sure. We're looking at what's the right length. But yes, you'll be mousetrapped. And if you get fully mousetrapped, where usually you would go to the PC pool, you now will be banned.
And just to reassure players, like, we are going to give warnings as we are giving warnings today. If you have issue with your sensitivity, etc., and it's a false positive somehow, we'll make sure that it's fair. But at some point, when we ban you, we are sure that you are mousetrapping.
Yeah, we'll use the 3 strikes and you're out, basically.
Exactly.
Just generally don't do it, guys. I think that's the advice we can give you. Try to avoid being in those situations. Okay, so can you say anything about the actual plans towards the new HP speed? Oh, yeah, this is for testing.
Yeah, for the testing grounds.
For the new HP speed system, any changes from what we've seen? I don't know if you can say anything, but
no, we don't have anything to announce right now. We're actually still going through the data and just trying to understand exactly, what the information that we're receiving from players, filtering through it. There's many different insights that have come from that. Not all players agree all the time. So we're kind of looking through what's the best course of action to take that next.
Yeah, I think that goes into the discussion we had before about like how long it's going to take for implementation to actually come through. And yeah, we're still trying to see that, I guess.
Exactly. And also sometimes we might put something into test that might not be delivered as is. Maybe instead of a global system, we'll say, actually, that's great for an operator, or that's great for a specific playlist. There's different ways that we can kind of, action the feedback. So we need to take that feedback on, discuss as a team, what do we want to do with this, and then decide how we bring that into the game.
Cool. So we've got another question here. Will there be any changes made to the solo queue experience?
So the colos, it depends on ultimately what the question means.
It's kind of a little vague. I mean, I think they're implying like in terms of toxicity and in terms of or anti-toxicity and in terms of maybe like having to deal with teammates or trying to improve team collaboration, perhaps. I don't know.
We could also be talking about different playlists.
Definitely,
and so on. We'll have some solo queue discussion to announce at the SI and on February 15th. So there might be something that we are mentioning for especially high-level solo queue players.
Yeah, let's go back and see if there's any questions here in the chat. Oh, here we go. Can we report someone for their offensive username?
Yep, it will be live in March.
Okay.
That's it.
Easy. It's coming, guys. part of the new features that are going to be coming in. And yeah,
maybe I want to talk more about reports. Especially for us, like for anti-cheat, it's super important. Like if you report players, and this information is super valuable to us. Different types of cheat will be able to be reported, and we want to be able to see that. So
it'll be
please
really
use the reports.
really granular then
Yeah,
in terms of like
absolutely,
the
yeah.
reporting
Yep.
system. That's really great. Yeah. We have more questions here. I'm just waiting for. Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to come in. But yeah,
I can add something about what is coming for anti-toxicity for year 11. We are also going to tackle the abandon system to make sure that we try to avoid players that are dodging matches at super high level, for example.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that it cannot happen anymore. So we'll build a system that is going to look at patterns more than just one or two occurrences, and we want to avoid dodging matches at higher rank mainly as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's obviously an issue, I think, for a while, and it's good to see that there's going to be something done to avoid that. But that being said, sorry, in terms of like if you accidentally disconnect, how do you determine between that and an abandon?
The goal is to rely on patterns, as we said. It's
Yeah.
all about patterns at the end. So if you are disconnecting 1 or 2 times within your last season or 100 matches, for example, you won't be penalized that much. But if it's again and again and very often, will be harsher to make sure that you cannot do it.
Actually, if I could add on match cancellations, like outside of cheating, it's one of the top priorities that we want to address for specifically the ranked playlist. We know that people are dodging pros, they're dodging maps they don't want to play, they're dodging, players with high stats. That's not going to fly with us anymore. So we're going to be taking a strong stance against match cancellations in year 11.
Perfect. And I actually have a question kind of related here. What is considered as smurfing? Will content creators who buy a second account to play the game pseudo-anonymously get sanctioned by the new systems? Does buying a new account not for the sole purpose of destroying lower level lobbies as a high level player count as smurfing? So I think there's a lot of different questions here. Let's start with the first one. What is considered as smurfing? We kind of answered that already though.
A little bit.
Yeah, but you want to elaborate?
Okay, so our definition of smurfing as of today is you have a secondary account and you are destroying lower lobby.
Okay.
Meaning that you have the same stats as a cheater. And if we allow this, we cannot win on the cheating side because the perception is never going to decrease.
Right.
So this is the definition. Now about some content creators, pro players, etc. that have secondary account, it's in theory forbidden by our term of services. We are seeing that. We are not going to ban all the players doing that today because we need to assess the change, and we need to put rules, and we need to educate people. That's the truth. It's forbidden. So we want to make sure that we can converge together, again, collaborative effort, to reduce the perception of cheating. If tomorrow a pro player, a content creator is buying a new account and destroying lower lobby, we are banning them. There is no bypass at the end. We need to secure the game. So this is our stance today. And we will evolve to make sure that it's super fair.
Okay.
Same as for boosting, for example, it's the abuse that makes the difference. So if we see a pattern of abuse, you're using that especially like to boost your ego, or I don't know, that's really when we want to sanction and we want to ban the players.
Yeah, and there's more to that question. Like, is it buying an account? As we mentioned, buying an account is forbidden.
Yeah, absolutely.
You cannot buy an account. Even if you're playing legitimately afterwards, that account is very questionable. And often we know where it comes from because those are bot farms. They're all connected. But also, with that question, going into lower level lobbies and just, destroying those lobbies, that's not fun for the other 9 players that are within that lobby. So yes, we are taking stances against that. We'll look at how we can partner with our content creators and pros to make sure that they have what they need to make their content. But there's a certain part of that content that's just not really helping us, and we're going to have to take a stance against.
Got it. I think that answered everything that was being asked there. Thank you, guys. I think we answered this already, but we'll ask it again. Will teammates leaving matches cause you to still get punished?
Yeah. So not teammates, squad mates. So if you are inviting your friend to play together in the same match, or you are in squad together, in year 11, if one of them is leaving and leaving, and so this abandon generate match cancellation, all the squad is going to have a loss at the end. This is one of the strategies we want to put in place. And as Chris said about match cancellation, we take this seriously, and we need to avoid this kind of dodging.
All right. Sorry, I'm just reading through the questions here.
That's okay.
There's some that aren't really applicable to player protection. You guys are going to have to wait for answers to those questions. Again, February 15th. I'll mention it again afterwards. But look.
Ship it.
Okay, I'll ship it. I'm just all right. Is there any news on when the voice chat bug will be fixed on PC? It's a real struggle to play competitive game that relies massively on voice comms. I understand the frustration. So
You want to take it?
Yeah, like I can say that we are absolutely aware that this is a bug that's happening in our game. We do consider it a bug. It's exactly what it is, and we are looking at to address it as soon as possible. It's taking a little bit longer than I know that players are hoping that we had addressed it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty deep issue. And so that's why it's taking, if it was a quick fix, we would obviously have fixed it and brought it in. It's taking a little bit longer than expected, but we're 100% aware of it and we're working on it. We want to address this because, as was mentioned, teammates, coordination, communication, it's the core identity of our game. So not only are players frustrated, but, we're frustrated as well. So we want to make sure that players can cooperate and play off of each other.
Did you want to add something?
Everything that Chris said, like the communication feature is not a communication for fun in Siege. It's mandatory to be able to play this game. So we are taking it super seriously. And yeah, it's a deep issue. So
okay, cool. I think things are starting to wrap up in terms of questions. Not really seeing anything else. So I think that's going to be it for our first ever community checkpoint, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We had fun doing it. Thanks to Chris, Mathieu, Lancelot, Adrian over there, who's been playing some awesome Siege, of course, and all of our production team. We had behind the scenes Melissa, Maxime, and of course Nicolas. So huge thanks to them and to all of you for joining us. Don't forget to tune in to the 6th Invitational. That's happening on February 15th for the full Year 11 roadmap. For now, I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you.